generation as self, then you're welcome to do it that way, okay? And then we are going to make the traditional offerings. So when we say Benza, Samaya, Trikta, Lin, we are making a commitment to stabilize this generation that we have just created. We're literally settling in. We're imagining that this holds. And sometimes when I'm doing this practice for a lengthy period of time, like on a Medicine Buddha day, this is a great place to make note, like hold here and rest in this meditation for 15, 20 minutes to really kind of get that stable connection going, okay? So all the Pure Land Buddhas are now with us, and we're imagining that they are actually clearing all of our obstacles and obscurations. Now, top of page 12, we're going to make our offerings. Om Tram Priya Abhikensa Om Hum Meto Dukho Marmedri Salse Roma Lasodam Sutra Drilo Rekjachu Taki Lala Chupabu Dakshak Sukni Supasho Om Benza Arka Kapyam Upe Aloke Gente Nevede Shapta Rupta Shawa Gente Rasa Shasa Tate Siti Om. Okay? So here, what we're doing is we're accumulating the merit. So you can do the mudras if you want. I'm not going to get into that today until we get a little bit more stable. And what we're doing is we are fully generating as the Medicine Buddha, but we're offering to this Medicine Buddha that's in front of us. And so we're doing that with light rays of our heart, right? So we're getting back to that Lu Hung again, and we're imagining offering this to all the goddesses, and we're offering them food and flowers and music and all the traditional offerings that are given. And those relate to the five senses. They all relate to the five senses, which sort of work on our clarifying our sort of physical relative truth, because sense perception is very much related to the physical body and to the physical form and this sort of world that we tend to operate in most of the time. So these offerings are a way for us to sort of lessen our attachment to that own relative world that we live in. And we're offering them, and we're asking, may we perfect the two accumulations. So the two accumulations here are referring to relative and ultimate truth again. And then we're saying, we're making these offerings, we're trying to increase our merit so that we can sort of be more present, okay? So sometimes you'll see on shrines, you'll see these offerings of the sense perceptions, okay? And then we have even more offerings that can be given as well. So we have like a conch shell, yogurt, there's a grass, and kushu grass, and then vermilion, bilva fruit, a neer, and a giwam, and white mustard seed. So these are sort of all traditional medical offerings, actually. And then from there, we're going to get into the 8 auspicious offerings, the parasol, the fish, the vase, the conch, the victory banner, so forth. Okay? So we're going to go through all of those. And then we're going to have we're going to really think about the mandala itself. And we're going to imagine that, okay, may all of these offerings help all sentient beings to accomplish the two accumulations on a relative and an ultimate level. And then these basically relate to the 7 royal articles. So I think your notes, do they have, yes they do, they have that in there. And if you want to read Trungpa Rinpoche's Medicine Buddha book, it's very clear in there as well. So we go through all of these sort of worldly deity kind of other being offerings first, and then we make direct offerings to Sangye Menla himself through our own aspirations. Okay? So we'll begin here at top of your page 13. Hong Trashi So Zirdi Socho Gyapo Yonkar Sok Dagi Lala Chopabo Sogni Yongsu Zopar Shok Mangalam Arta Siddhi Hong Hong Trashi Sowo Takede Socho Gyapo Bumpa Sok Dagi Lala Chopabo Semchen Sogni Zopar Shok Mangalam Kumbha Hong Hong Duyung Sowo Rinchen Socho Gyapo Nobu Sok Dagi Lala Chopabo Dagni Sogni Zopar Shok Om Mani Ratna Hom Hom Kungi Sowo Virabling Virabling Ching Ling Tre Che Dagi Lala Chopabo Sogni Yongsu Zopar Shok Om Ratna Manda Hom Hong Dagi Dridrin Drichaki Deshe Kumla Kutru So Lala Drima Niyayam Didrin Darpe Tendreli. Okay. So we've done these offerings, as I've said. And then when you come down over here, when it says on page 14, Hong Duyung Sowo Rinchen Du, you're saying, I'm giving these 7 royal articles, these 7 precious things, the most excellent jewels and the others, and I'm offering it to the deity. So I'm offering it to Sangye Menla. And here it says, may I perfect the 2 accumulations again. And then Om Mani Ratna Hom. So this literally means, how do I explain this? Like the preciousness is like the jewel, like that. Om means like that. And then the Hum is like a full offering of the something beyond what we can conceive, too vast to understand. So we're offering beyond our own perception to the Medicine Buddha. We've given everything that we can possibly imagine. We've given every royal article. We've given every flower, every fruit, every perfume, every sweet sound. And beyond that, beyond our own conceptions, we're offering even more to that. And from there, we're even offering, all the subcontinents of Mount Meru. Mount Meru is like the center, so if you're familiar with giving a mandala offering like this is Mount Meru, right? And so literally everything that is surrounding Mount Meru, all of the subcontinents, we're offering all of this to the deity. So whenever you're doing a mandala offering, either before an empowerment or within empowerment, whatever, that's literally what's happening, is you're offering everything that you can conceptually imagine. And then beyond concepts, you're offering that. And so that's what that actually represents. Right? So this is the Mount Meru. And it's 4 subcontinents. So all of that is being offered to the deity. And again, with the aspiration, may there be the 2 accumulations be perfected on a relative and an ultimate level. Okay? And from there, again, this is a really good place to pause when you're offering to the deity. You're imagining the entire universe has been offered, and that light rays are emanating from your heart, literally out in all 10 directions to all beings, leaving none absent. So everyone receives this kind of love and this aspiration for the 2 accumulations. And you just imagine that there are light rays just pouring out of you, and that you're just offering everything that you can imagine for all beings to purify and develop consciously, so that we can all sort of go on this greater path. And what this does on a really basic practice level is really seal your connection to the Medicine Buddha, and to really working with that infinite compassion and really spreading that out further. And so we're imagining that we're actually bathing the Medicine Buddha in this light and these scented waters, okay? And then from there, what we're imagining doing is we're imagining that we're drying. We've sort of bathed the Medicine Buddha in all of these waters with this radiating light, and then we're going to dry it. And what that does is it represents sort of removing, sort of cleansing and purifying any obstacles for people on a relative truth, on a physical level, on a basic form level, for all sentient beings, all the suffering of the sentient beings. So this is like a really important part here, where when you're radiating light out and you're doing the Medicine Buddha practice, like say you're in a clinic and you're working with someone, right? This is the point where if you are very stable in your practice, you can quickly self-generate as the Medicine Buddha. You have sort of this intention to help and serve, and so you don't have to go through all the bells and whistles. You just self-generate and then out. Yeah, so you're immediately sending that healing, compassionate love out. So you don't have to go through all the steps and the offerings and the calling. It's like Medicine Buddha is already there, and if you've received the full empowerment, then Medicine Buddha is right here. And I always tell the story of how, you know, when I was even more young and ignorant than I am now, that I was at like a sweat lodge kind of shamanistic thing, and there was a native person there, and I was getting ready to go to Nepal to study further, and I had studied Tibetan medicine for about 2 years, and I had received the Medicine Buddha. I hadn't actually taken refuge yet. And this guy said, "Do you know anything about a blue Buddha?" And I said, "Oh yeah, that's the Medicine Buddha." He goes, "Do you know he's on your head all the time, waiting for you to just ask him?" And I was like, "Oh, that's nice." You know, but I didn't really realize what that actually meant. You know, so once you receive that empowerment and you have that, you know, you have the blessing if you have the womb. You don't necessarily have to have the empowerment. It's just a stronger connection to the lineage if you have the empowerment. So I feel fairly confident in my own personal connection to the Medicine Buddha. So if you've only received the lung from me, you can bypass me and go straight to my masters, because they have the real juice. So the Medicine Buddha is there at all times, and so being able to connect to that instantly in the moment, really having gracious trust in that connection that you have with the Medicine Buddha, and then radiating that out towards all beings from your heart, is really easy. And you can do it at a stoplight. If you see a bad car crash, you can do it in your clinic with a patient. You can do it with a family member who's dying, and you're not even there. You can radiate it out. It will get to them, I promise you. So this is a really important little part within the practice that's very helpful. Okay? So now we're going to be at top of page 16. Om Sawa Tathagata Abhijita Samaya Shri Hom. Ho Rekha Jante Depani Galwe Kuni Chawagi Kula Drima Minya Yang Dugno Drawe Sindrelgi Om Kaya Yesua Dante Om Natsa Sete Nirmiti Galwe Kula Sawagi Kula Silwe Minyayam Chagam Kawe Tendelgi Om Betsa Wajra Ahum. So here we're really continuing with our connection to this flawless being, to this Sangye Menla, thus who's gone beyond illness, going beyond physical illness, going beyond mental illness and afflictions of the 3 root poisons. We're imagining that with a very scented, clean, and pure cloth, we're drying his body, and what this